post, whatever. We're going live, baby. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show, everyone. My name's Ben. We're here to answer your shooting questions. On deck today, Grandmaster Tim.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while.
It hasn't been that long. I mean, some people missed you, but, you know.
Not many.
They had Gaston on. Some people, like, Gaston has been filling in a little bit for you, and he's a very polarizing figure. He makes some people really mad, and other people think that he's hilarious. We also have Grandmaster Matt. Matt, say hello.
Hi.
Wow.
The exuberance out of that guy is amazing.
You got to smile.
What are you talking about? I am.
He's smiling. Holy shit! I got a screen cap. Do it again. I'm screen capping it. Boom. Got it. Hi, Mimi. All right, guys. Today we're talking about the off season. So here's the question: you and your panel have spoken a lot recently about the off season. Does that mean no matches, but live fire and dry fire practice? Just dry fire with no matches, or live fire practice, or no shooting or practice, or whatever? I enjoy the podcast. I listen on YouTube. They're informative and entertaining at the same time. That's not easy to do. All right, Hopkins, what does the off season mean to you? Because I reckon all of us are going to think about like what off season means a little bit differently.
Yeah. I guess there's two parts, like no competitive events, but I'll shoot kind of like a local Tuesday night and maybe a local match if the weather is semi-decent, like no snow or rain. But then there's another aspect where I won't even touch a gun or do anything, and that's a whole different part where basically between Thanksgiving and Christmas, almost to the New Year's when I do that. So
you won't touch a gun at all?
I won't even, at work I do, obviously, but
yeah, obviously. No
aspect of competitive shooting.
All right. Tim, what about you?
I'm pretty much
doing off season?
Pretty much the same way. Yeah, this is actually the longest I've kind of drug my season into this late in the year. Yeah, this is pretty late for me. Typically, I'm done by the first or second weekend of October, and I generally try to not touch a gun until at least past Christmas. So, but I'm kind of still at it right now, until probably the end of this month.
Do you have major matches coming up or something, or why has the season gone long?
We got one more major that I'm shooting down in Tulsa this weekend. So this is the weekend before Halloween. So, and then after that, I'm done. I'm come home, put everything away, and I won't touch a gun again probably till at least after Christmas. Might do a local here or there or something, kind of the same as Matt, but typically I take a good 2 solid months off and not do anything. So.
Okay, well, I can go into some detail on what the off season means for me. So there's going to be a phase in there where outside of demoing in classes or whatever, like outside of pretty much like mandatory shit, I'm not going to practice. So no training. I don't go as long as Hopkins does. So Hopkins, you go Thanksgiving to New Year's pretty much not training.
Yeah, it's like 6 weeks.
I don't think I have it in me to do that. I try to about that time in December. I'll try to force myself to take like 2 weeks and not touch a gun, and I think that's good for you on a number of levels, where you kind of recharge your batteries and you just focus on other stuff. Usually, like that time of year is convenient because it's cold as shit where I live, and you've got events and like family stuff. Like you're gonna get blasted with all that stuff anyway, so it's kind of a convenient time to be not shooting or not training. And then after that, I like to get into dry fire and physical training and getting gear prep going and loading ammo. All of that stuff starts happening hot and heavy for me, especially in January. It's like, all right, like it's going to start warming up soon. Any minute now, I got to start loading all my ammo, getting my gun straight. What?
Like April for you, it's crazy.
Well, I travel. It's cool. So it's like, you start getting all that stuff ready, so you really go in phases. And I don't like to shoot competitive matches during that time because it's kind of like you want to be, well, for me, I like to be free to experiment and kind of try new things in my training and just like go out and just shoot and practice and fuck around and not have, you have it hanging over your head. Because as soon as you start shooting matches, Hopkins, you're probably the same way. You're like, as soon as you start shooting major matches, you're like, all right, Nationals is coming up, right?
Definitely. At the point I'm going to start shooting matches is going to be earliest is March. So, like, yeah, I do stop for a little while, but I'm not going to be shooting competitively till March. That gives me, like, 8 to 10 weeks to get ready.
Yeah, but the off season is more than just that, right? So it's like you take a couple weeks away from the gun, and then there's this preparation phase you go through also during the off season.
But I want to have that done in those 8 to 10 weeks, And most of the time I can. I haven't really had a problem with it.
Yeah. I agree. You haven't had a problem with it. That's good. For me, I guess, especially before I had an auto drive press, the ammo was a big deal, because you guys know it's really tough to be loading ammo and training hard and doing all the other shit you've got to do during the summer. So I like to load up. I like to load up a lot of ammo. So before I had an auto drive press, that was a big deal. And now that's actually a life changer for me, is having a press that can load ammo faster than I can shoot it, really, essentially. So that makes the off season a little bit less stressful. So I like that. All right, but that's pretty fair. Is there anything else we got to say about the off season?
I think it's important to take one, no matter how long or how short it may be for each individual.
Yeah, I think right after my first year of shooting, I didn't take an off season, really. Like, I guess you could say I went straight into preparing for the next year, and it wasn't really, like, good for me, Yeah, like, it's pretty tough to be training 100% as hard as you can train and being like this, like, on a knife edge, like getting ready to be a Death Stalker and go kick ass at Nationals when Nationals is, like, 8 months away. Like, I don't think you can maintain that edge that long. At least I can't. I don't know. Maybe some guys can.
I would have to agree with you. You kind of seem to ride a wave for a little while until either the wave kind of washes over you or you crash. I mean, either way.
Well, I think I'm definitely I think after Nationals this year, it was kind of like coasting, honestly. Like coasting till the end of the year. Like, I haven't really trained up hard for anything or done like a lot of shooting. It's kind of like, yeah, go shoot this major. Yeah, you did okay. But nothing as serious as getting up to Nationals.
Yeah, it's like for us, Nationals is kind of the main event, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's go to another shooting question. My question is concerning the benefit of airsoft training. With gas blowback airsoft pistols, you get feedback, slide movement, and a very small amount of recoil. He put recoil in quotation marks. Maybe it's not actually recoil, I don't know. You get to shoot stuff. Not nearly as boring as dry fire, and airsoft BBs are much cheaper than firearm ammo. Would you say that this is the same, better, or worse than dry fire training? That's a really interesting comparison. Like, is it better, the same, better, or worse? Tim, have you played around with airsoft at all?
The only airsoft stuff I played around with has been like my oldest kid's stuff, which he didn't have any kind of cool like gas blowback stuff. It's all spring guns. So I mean, I'm pretty amazed at how accurate those pistols can be, though, in the 5 to 10 yard range.
And they hurt too.
Honestly. Yeah, hell yeah, they do.
What about you? You fuck around with them?
I have never messed with them.
Oh, good. This is a topic that I guess only I can speak intelligently on. So I've been playing with gas blowback airsoft guns since before it was cool. I think I was 15 when I imported some from Hong Kong. It was back in the 90s when I got my first batch of gas blowback pistols. There was like it was not a thing that you could go to Walmart and buy an airsoft gun of any description. They had to be imported. So I remember doing a wire transfer with some of my friends and transferring money to Hong Kong Yeah, that's really weird. For
This
a
story is
15-year-old.
getting incredibly weird as you
It's
go on.
weird
Keep
for a
going on.
15-year-old kid to roll up to his banker and take
Say,
money
"Oh,
from his paper route or whatever and be like, "Yeah, so I'd like to do an international wire transfer to Hong Kong," and they're just like, "What the? All right, like whatever."
That's so
This,
awesome.
what?
Go ahead, keep going.
We got these to shoot each other with back in those days.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got them and we shot each other. It was a substitute for paintball for me. It was just like a more interesting way to do paintball, so that's why I bought them initially. And now, I think since the mid-2000s, they've been pretty prominent for firearm training tools. I have used them in that capacity, especially when I shot a Beretta. I had. It depends on what type of gun you have. You may not always be able to get an airsoft clone of your gun. Like if you're shooting a SIG 320, you're probably out of luck. If you shoot a Beretta, you're in pretty good shape. There's a lot of companies clone Berettas. So anyway, yes, I've used them in that capacity. I like them. I think they're fun. Like, it's fun to use the gas blowback. But I have a couple suggestions about it. If you have a garage, I think that's the place to do it. I spent a whole winter shooting airsoft BBs in my garage, which was, again, it was fun. There's BBs all over the place, but since I was a renter, I didn't really give a shit. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but I didn't really care. You do get a little bit of gas blowback. You get a little bit of the recoil going on. I'd like to think it helped my shooting. I mean, to me, it was kind of what made it fun, or what made it beneficial for training was that it was fun, it was interesting, it was different. You had the gas blowback going on. I don't know that it was better than dry fire. Probably not, because the trigger on the gun is so different. But it definitely kept me engaged with shooting, and I enjoyed my time doing that. Logistically, it's not as cool as you might think, because when you fire multiple shots really fast, as USPSA shooters tend to do when they're practicing, the gas blowback pistols, especially the cheaper ones that you're likely to buy, the valves on those aren't really designed to handle it. So you'll fire like 10 or 12 shots out of a magazine, and then the magazine will cool down, and then you probably want to swap it out and then use a different magazine. And then you want to swap that one out and use a different magazine. And then you can probably go back to the first one that you used, or whatever. So you need to buy a lot of magazines, just because of the way the gas works. Because you guys have shot CO2 guns, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they cool down right when you start shooting them, and then before you know it, you're spraying liquid out, and that's not so good, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So having a lot of magazines is good. Dropping the magazines on the ground, maybe not so good. So if you're in your basement or a garage where you likely have a concrete floor, that can cause some problems. So be prepared to buy a lot of extra magazines, and be prepared to really annoy the people that live with you, because the guns aren't loud, but they're not exactly quiet. So it'll sound like you're using a jackhammer in the garage. My roommate's really hating me when I was doing that. Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
But yeah, it's fun. I don't know that it's better than dry fire. These days, I just dry fire. Like I don't bother dicking around with it with airsoft. One option that I should put out there that I actually really like, you can get most of the feedback and the slide reciprocating and all that if you just use the gun and the gas without the BBs.
Yeah.
So if you disable the slide stop on your gun, or just like pin the follower in the magazine, you can use the gun and not have to dick with the BBs. Well, the guns are pretty accurate when you start rapid firing them hard, and the gas pressure and the temperature changes really quickly. They tend to not be as accurate as you might think, especially, again, if you're using the lower quality ones that you're likely to buy and use. The high dollar ones, have you guys seen the IPSC like Airsoft?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
clone open guns, and that they
Right.
work.
So they clone open guns, and then the valve systems on those are really sophisticated, so they don't have nearly as much velocity variation when the temperature changes.
That seems
they're
pretty cool.
neat, but they're... God, you can buy a stock too for one of those prices.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's like, it's kind of like what buying a Chevy Cobalt and then souping it up. It's kind of like, what the fuck's the point? Like,
Why don't we have a Nerf division? That would be interesting.
For us in the U.S., it just makes more sense to like put your money into real guns and ammo, probably ammo. So yeah. Anyway, I think the airsoft's fun. I don't know that it's better than dry fire, and it certainly would not replace the need to do dry fire, because you still have to learn your own gun and trigger and whatever, and it's really unlikely that you're going to get an airsoft gun that feels exactly the same as your actual gun. So that's kind of my take on it from doing it. I've got probably more experience with those guns than's really healthy. Because when I was younger, I shot people with them a lot, and I got shot with them a lot.
And that shit hurts.
It does. You always go for bare skin, dude. Always go for bare skin. All right, well, guys, another bang-up show. If you have a shooting question you'd like to send to us, head over to BenStoeger.com. Send me an email. If you want to talk to either of these two monkeys, go to HopkinsShooting.com, send them an email, and I'm sure they'll get back to you. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Thank you.
Well,